It's time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm your host for today's show, Kevin McIntosh. Got a lot to talk about, so let's eventually get straight into it. Starting off with customers and store owners showing their support for Orchard Mall. That's because this past weekend spelled the end of a very long run of Lakeside Mall, another casualty in local malls falling to the wayside in the age of online shopping. Recent trends have left some worrying that other local malls might be joining suit, but not those at the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield. Joining us live right now from the mall is Splash Live's very own Jake Schaff. How you doing, Jake?
Hey, Kevin, good morning. Yes, I'm here live at the Orchard Mall in West Bloomfield, and you are absolutely right. Ever since the turn of the century, more and more malls have been shutting down just from other stores opening up or online shopping becoming more and more popular. But I had the chance to visit the Orchard Mall this week, and from what I witnessed in talking to some of the customers, there are no intentions of slowing down.
I walk 2.5 miles every day, and in inclement weather, I come here to walk. That keeps me coming back, plus the fact that I frequent the restaurants, and there are a couple of shops in here that I like.
Yes, the merit for malls is still strong, and as you just heard from that customer, there is greater appeal in visiting the mall than the chaos that can sometimes come with online shopping.
Well, I'm very upset about the fact that we're going to have nowhere to go shopping because of all the online shopping. I do not like online shopping at all, and I hope people come to this mall and whatever other malls are still open and realize that we are keeping our community people employed, and we have all these buildings. What are we going to do with all these buildings that are empty? And I think that we've lost the human contact, and people are generally rude to one another because we don't have contact with each other enough anymore. So I don't like what's going on. I like to be able to go shopping, know the people who work in the stores, and have conversations with them. I miss all that, socialization.
And it's not just customers who express their gratitude, store owners as well. The businesses that help make malls like these run, one of which is Slade's, a gift registry shop located in the mall. I had the chance to speak with their owner and one of their employees to find out just what else the store has to offer more than just the in-person shopping experience.
Our ladies like to touch it, feel it. They want to see it in person. They just don't want you to say, oh, it's a nice platter. They want to see it and touch it. Right, Nancy?
I agree wholeheartedly. And not just that, not only do we sell, we gift wrap, we make it beautiful.
We're UPS.
Right, we ship things.
All over the country, all over.
It's a whole experience.
Oh, it is. I've been in business. This year is my 50th year.
And sometimes we sing to our customers.
And write poems.
That's right.
They love it when we write them. I write them a poem because it comes very easy to me, but they love it.
It's more than just the shopping, Kevin. It's that interpersonal connection and experience that really makes everything worth it. Things you can't always get from a computer screen.
Jay, great story, interesting perspective too on our local malls shutting down. Trust me, I as someone who grew up going to the mall frequently on the weekends and just being a social thing more than a shopping thing, I feel about it. So, what about you, Jake? What is your experience? When's the last time you've been to a mall?
Well, I've got a couple malls close to where I live in Livonia. In fact, I used to work at one of those malls. I worked at a movie theater that was connected to the Laurel Park Mall. So I know the mall atmosphere very, very well. And it's definitely something you can't replicate many other places, Kevin. It's something that needs to be preserved. And I'm glad places like Orchard Mall exist and definitely do their part to help their customers.
Yes, it's different type of energy as you are live right there at Orchard Mall right there. The energy of the mall, our local malls, where our community came together, spent some time, socialized, and did a little bit of shopping as we all supported the community. Great again, Jake Shaft live at the Orchard Mall right there as we continue to support our local malls as they go through the transition in the online shopping age. Thanks again for that story, Jake.
Absolutely. No problem, Kevin.
Yes, yes. A lot of things still moving and going on in the local community. The tastiest concert of them all happened in Sylvan Lake just Monday night. We told you about it right here on the Splash Live Christian Cupcake Concert. It was actually with Mr. Spirit of Sylvan Lake himself, Christian Mikey. It was tons of cupcakes if you're watching on CivicCenterTV.com. Lots of great music, and just look at the turnout. Look at that smiling face from Mr. Spirit of Sylvan Lake himself and all those beautiful cupcakes. Or as Lori Sheffield put it on Facebook, the Cupcake Procession. Congratulations on another great concert and event. Christian, want to thank you again. I think we have another great tradition and staple right here in our local communities in the prettiest little city in Michigan with a great summer tradition. Love to see that right there. Do you smell that? Smells like great baked goods. It's Canal Bakery in Keego Harbor is set to open very, very soon. Canal's newest location on Orchard Lake Road will officially open its doors on July 12th. Open its 5th location right on the corner of Orchard Lake and Commerce in the heart of the lakes. Owner Mike Neo actually joined us recently on the Splash Live to tell you exactly what you can expect when you visit their newest location.
It's an experience going to Canal, the beauty of the store, the beauty of the pastries, the environment, the customer service we do. It's gonna make you feel like you are in a different place, and it will invite you to love more and more and the city of Keego Harbor and West Bloomfield.
Nice. Great baked goods, and more importantly, it's a great new business opening right here in our area. Want to thank again owner Matt Neo for joining us on the Splash Live and give out all that information. You can learn more about Canal Bakery. Follow them on Facebook, MK Canal, CANNELLE on Facebook to find out more about that. NBA free agency is underway. College recruits are making their way to campus, and now your kids have a chance to learn the game of basketball from a legend right here in West Bloomfield. Special K, Mr. Gregory Kelser himself, actually joined us right here on the Splash Live. And Special K, if you don't mind, Mr. Kelser, explain to us what your basketball camp is all about and what the kids will learn about the game from you and your team.
Well, it's an opportunity for boys and girls ages 7 to 17 to come and spend a week with my coaches, with my staff, very, very qualified people who are there to help enhance their basketball skills. The main focus is to make sure they're having fun. Mm-hmm. We want to make sure that they're doing that. But, we talk to the kids about all the opportunities that are there in a short week's time, 5 days, not even a full week. But, opportunities to meet new friends and, start relationships that could last a lifetime. Mm-hmm. In addition to, trying to become better basketball players. But we spend a lot of time talking to the kids about education and how important that aspect of their lives are. I feel like, my life and many of my coaches would echo this, a commitment to education is the very embodiment of what we've lived and what we've experienced. And while we're there, able to do what we do right now, we all played basketball and it took us all to a certain level. But it was our educations that were able to pick up from there and bring us to where we are today. I'm a guy who played in the NBA, mm-hmm. but once my career ended, I still had to work. I still had a lot of years in front of me.
Correct.
So it was, that's when the education that I was very, very serious about growing up, thanks to my parents, they demanded that. That's where that sort of took over. And we believe that education is essential and that academics and athletics can coexist. Now, you were asking me about, where the camp all started. It's funny, I feel like, in a way, I've come full circle because my very first basketball camp was in 1978 when I was still in college. And we had it in West Bloomfield. at the Jewish Community Center. But the year prior to that, I worked Bob Lanier and Dick Vitale's basketball camp right at West Bloomfield High School, where my camp is now.
Wow.
And I remember walking away from that situation saying, I can do this. And the next year I was doing it, and we've never stopped since then. This will be our 45th or 6th year running the camps, and they've been really rewarding for us and for the people who've attended.
Congratulations, first and foremost, all the success on the camp. The inspiration, just the story that you shared along for the viewers and the listeners right now, inspiring or aspiring to be, or at least achieve the what you've achieved in your career. I know that was great motivation for them. So just throughout the years of the camp, do you have any memorable moments, stories, success from any of the people that attended that you can kind of share that stands out to you?
Well, the thing that I always like to say and boast is that, if you go back to 1978, my first camp, I was 20 years old. The oldest kids in that camp were like 15. So there was a 5-year age difference. Well, fast forward some 45 years, I'm in my middle 60s, and, it's not uncommon for me to run into someone who's 60 years old who says, I attended your basketball camp.
Oh, wow.
And, now we got the grandchildren attending the basketball camps. So, that's been rewarding, the fact that we've been able to stick around, stay around, and have the impact that we've been able to have and share in the great lives.
Of course, you don't want people who are, or kids who already feel like they're pros or they have everything mastered, just for the development of that. So yes, this is exactly for the people who are trying to, and like you said, whether or not you're trying to aspire to even go to the pros, basketball or sports in general, team sports help build camaraderie, helps bring teamwork, help you think of a teamwork type of mentality in many situations which we had to deal with in real life. So I completely agree and understand that. Join us here on the Splash Live, founder of the Greg Kelser basketball camp happening at West Bloomfield High School. We have Mr. Greg Kelser himself talking about the camp and just in general, basketball fundamentals and education in general for the youth. Now, real quick, Mr. Kelser, if you don't mind, what key fundamentals do you believe are essential for the youth to understand from your basketball camp in order for them to become professionals or just masters in general?
Well, there's so many areas of the game. And what we hope is that the kids will embrace the development of all of those assets. Those facets. Not just shooting, which everybody wants to do, but ball handling, passing skills, defensive footwork, rebounding, blocking out, conditioning. All of these things are essential if you're going to be a really good basketball player, a complete player. You don't want to be really good in one thing and not good in 3 or 4 others. You want to try to be your best in every phase of the game. And that's why we have station drills. We break it down each day, each morning. You work on these things. You have excellent direction provided by the coaches. And then in the afternoon, we let them play games where we hope that they'll implement some of the things that they may have learned in the morning, try them in the games and that sort of thing. It's worked out. It's worked out quite well. And then we also, to kind of bolster what we talk about every day as far as education is concerned, we give them little assignments, little things that they can do where they got to maybe utilize their minds a little bit, and not just the physical part of their constitution, but let's exercise that mind too. And this, I think, helps us to validate what we're talking about as far as education. But I tell you what, I really like what you said a moment ago about teamwork, because basketball and most team sports, they do teach you so much beyond what the sport is all about. It's all about coming together, putting collaborative efforts together for a single goal. And I don't think anything teaches you that better than basketball and other sports where you're depending on someone else's effort along with yours to get to a certain point. And I know that you don't get anywhere in life by yourself. You have to have help and input from others, and teamwork is essential to that. And that's what this sort of teaches.
I couldn't have said it better myself. It means so much more coming from a
it.
professional like yourself, Mr. Kelser. And it seems like it's common sense, but yes, it's teamwork, it's camaraderie, it's working with others, sharing common goals, and a marriage, any relationship, even at work, it just all makes sense. And I completely agree, comparing basketball and teamwork with that also. Mr. Kelser, I know you have to go, but one last thing, I guess, before we go, just give out any additional details, information, requirements, qualifications for people who are interested in signing their youth up for the Greg Kelser basketball camp.
Okay, we have a website, very simply. It's gregorykelser.com/basketball. If you just go to gregorykelser.com, you'll see a link there that will take you to the camp. But if you want to go directly to the camp, just add basketball on the end of that website you're seeing on the screen right now, gregorykelser.com/basketball. We have a telephone number there if you have questions, but everything is pretty self-explanatory. We still have spots available, but I would encourage anyone that wants to get their child involved to sign up as soon as possible, register, and we'll look forward to having a great week beginning July 15th through the 19th.
July 15th through the 19th, West Bloomfield High School, boys and girls ages 7 through 17, the Greg Kelser basketball camp. Once again, join us here on the Splash Live, the founder of that basketball camp, Mr. Greg Kelser, Special K himself. Thank you so much for your time, sir. We appreciate it.
Hey, Kevin, thank you very much. And you do a great job, too. I want to say that. You're a pro at what you do.
Oh, Mr. Kelser, don't make me blush. Thank you again for your time to explain the Gregory Kelser basketball camp happening at West Bloomfield High School this month. Find out more or find out how to register right on his website, gregorykelser.com/basketball. Everything you need to know regarding the Gregory Kelser basketball camp. Coming up, we got a lot more to talk about, specifically with the Michigan educational budget recently being approved. But what does that mean for West Bloomfield? We'll discuss that coming up. We are live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with the Splash Live. Bringing you stories and memories from Kego Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM.
One scorching heat wave will leave me powerless to cool my insulin.
When the storm rolls in, my time to find a pet-friendly evacuation center will have run out.
I'm relying on luck, but who knows if it'll be on my side.
When it comes to disasters and emergencies, it's not a matter of if, but when. Take control. 1. Assess your needs. 2. Make a plan. 3. Engage your support network. Let's prepare so we all have a better story to tell.
Find local municipal meetings at our program schedule on civiccentertv.com. Find when your meetings air live or when they're replaying on our Civic Center TV live stream. Find it all at civiccentertv.com and click schedule at the top of the screen. And now, back to the Splash Live.
Live, local, and social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. I appreciate you for viewing us and listening to us today. I am your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. Now, the state of Michigan recently approved its educational budget for the upcoming school year. But what does that really mean for us right here in our local community? Now, we are actually going to discuss the actual budget itself and how it will affect our local West Bloomfield School District. Joining us right here on the Splash Live, Superintendent for West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Danya Bazzi. Thank you for being here, Dr. Danya Bazzi.
Thank you for having me. Good morning to you.
Yes, so first and foremost, let's get straight to it. Michigan educational budget approved. What does that mean for West Bloomfield School District and our students?
Well, you know, there's a lot of positive aspects of this budget for our school district in terms of investments and things that, you know, we all feel strongly about in terms of the meal program that allows us to provide students meals for breakfast and lunch. We know that's an important part of learning is to make sure that students are fed. There's also been, a nice investment in our preschool programming, our GSRP, which is funded at the state level, and we've seen, a nice increase to that. There's also been increases to at-risk funding, which again helps us support our students at all levels to make sure that they're successful in the classroom. So there's a lot of positive to the budget that we want to highlight and appreciate from our legislature and our senators and the governor. But there's obviously some things for the long term that I still think need to be addressed within the budget.
Of course, of course. It's not going to be one size fits all for all problems that we're having right here in the state of Michigan. So I completely understand. But what impact do you anticipate the community college guarantee having on West Bloomfield graduates?
I think that's a great opportunity for students. Usually what sometimes acts as a barrier for students to move on to post-secondary education is that access to college. We know that costs at the community college and university level are increasing.
Correct.
So having that pipeline to be able to say that you have access to go to school, post-secondary education is a big step for the state of Michigan. But at the same time, that comes at a cost. So my focus is always going to be on K-12 education in terms of providing students the best here, but it's certainly a great opportunity for some of our students after they leave the district.
No, I understand that from your perspective. You want to make sure you're getting them prepared to go to that next step in education. Completely understand. Joining us right now on the Splash Live, Superintendent for the West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Danya Bazzi, talking about the Michigan State educational budget that was just recently passed, how it affects West Bloomfield School District. And we just talked about the free meals and things being offered. What benefits do you expect to see with its continuation?
I think, again, having that ability to ensure that students have access to meals while they're at school is really important. And we're excited about continuing that with our food service department and obviously enhancing that each year as we go by. Students are very honest with us. I usually do a meet and eat with myself and members of the Board of Education each month where students give us their feedback, and food service tends to be a topic. So it's something that we've really been working on, and next year are excited for some changes and having student voice in that process to make sure that we're listening to our students.
Yeah, that school lunch is very, very essential. Trust me, we all get in between classes. It's a great social time, don't get me wrong, and a break from the education and whatnot, but having that great meal, especially we don't know what our children's situation is at home, so to be able to provide that great nutritional meal and adequate meal makes sense. What strategies are being implemented in West Bloomfield to adapt to the budget changes and ensure the quality of education is maintained?
I mean, there's really two things that we're focusing our efforts on, which are, one is a grant that comes from the state of Michigan, which is 31AA. And that specifically is meant to support mental health supports within the school as well as school safety. Unfortunately, in the budget, that grant was heavily reduced. I mean, to the point where that will most likely impact our services in that arena. Now, the MIPSERS funding that basically is where most school districts are receiving their funding, it's a great amount of money, and it will help us with continuing these services. The problem is it's not guaranteed for any time beyond the 24-25 fiscal year. So meaning in 25-26, there's no guarantee that MIPSERS funding is still going to be there. Now, they are trying to address this through Senate Bill 911, and basically that will ensure the stability of our retirement system and ensure the funding stays back with the district. Our funding increase this year wasn't through the traditional per pupil foundation allowance increase. That has held steady in this budget, which that's not occurred in the past 10 years, where we have not seen any increase to the foundation allowance. Now, the amount, though, is still a healthy amount that we were given this year. The problem is we need to ensure that it's guaranteed for future years so that we can continue focusing our efforts on mental health and school safety infrastructure. So really right now, those are our two main focus areas, and what we're really trying to work with our legislature and our senators to ensure that that Senate bill is addressed.
A lot of key information and great points that you hit on. Join us right now in the Splash, Superintendent for West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Danya Bazzi, joining us. Now since we're talking about budget, we have to talk about jobs, right? With concerns about potential future teacher layoffs, how is the district preparing to handle any staffing challenges that may arise?
We look at our budget and, we have to ensure that our spending, revenue, and expenditures line up. We have worked very hard, though, through attrition as people leave to be able to make those changes without impacting people. 85% of our budget is people, and that's because that's what we do. We're educators and we're in the business of people. So it's something that we work closely together as an administrative team and our staff to say what are the services that our students need to make sure that we're able to provide the services that we're able to that are needed to provide for our students. There will be complexities with this budget in terms of long-term sustainability. We will address those through, steady, calm leadership to make sure that our students have the very best. I will say we've been balancing it in terms of increasing our programming, even with some of our difficult financial situation that, like many schools have found. I mean, this year we're increasing our music program at the 5th grade to include choir. We've expanded our STEAM program to all K-5 elementaries across the district.
There you go.
So we're going to continue working. We've also brought kind of the push-up method in terms of our math instruction at the elementary level so that if students are advanced, they're able to move up to the grade level ahead in a very smooth process. So even with this, we're being creative as a district with our community to make sure that we're continuing to expand the offerings for our students while addressing those budgetary constraints, in the most efficient manner.
Well, let me just tell you right now, you're doing great work, Dr. Bazzi. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Essentially, we covered a lot of points, but basically to recap and kind of go over things, what are your priorities and plans for the West Bloomfield School District in light of this new budget overall?
We're going to take a look at the long-term sustainability and to see how this impacts us going into the next fiscal year, 25-26. We're going to continue to advocate, though, to ensure that Senate Bill 911 is pushed through so that we can ensure that funding stays with us for the foreseeable future. And we're going to continue to lead in terms of student data driving our decision-making in terms of ensuring that we're meeting the needs of every student within the West Bloomfield School District.
Yep, having that open ear, listening to the suggestions, anything that the community needs, the students need, parents need, I believe that's key right there. Thank you again for your insight, your information, and more importantly, your time. Superintendent of the West Bloomfield School District, Dr. Danya Bazzi, thank you for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Absolutely. You have a better one. This is great information to know about how things are working within our educational system, especially when it comes from a state level all the way down to the local West Bloomfield School District level. So we are expecting a few different changes, a few different moving parts as we enter the upcoming school year, but we will continue to keep you updated as we always do right here on The Splash Live. We are live, we are local, we are social. It is The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
Good nutrition can help make sure you have enough iron, calcium, and vitamin C in your body, which can make it harder for lead to enter your bloodstream. Help protect your family from the harmful effects of lead.
Hey guys, it's me, Isabella Gomez, filling in for Smokey Bear because he's got more to say than just...
Only you can prevent wildfires.
Like, if you're outside enjoying a barbecue, don't let a hamburger distract you from fire safety. Make sure you aren't dumping your hot coals or ashes onto the ground because that could start a wildfire. So take wildfire prevention seriously and let's save the world one day at a time. Juntos con Smokey Bear, Podemos hacerlo. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Bringing you stories and memories from Kego Harbor, Civic Center TV, and 89.3 Lakes FM. And now, back to the Splash, live.
Live, local, and social, it's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Thank you so much for joining us today. I am your host, Kevin McIntosh. Plenty more to talk about and get into, specifically with a very popular topic about weight loss drugs like Ozempic affecting local residents. There's a recent article that came out that talked about how weight loss drugs may decrease bone density, but we are not the experts here, but we are being joined by a local expert from the Henry Ford Hospital, System Medical Director for Weight Management and Obesity Medicine Medical Director, Dr. Suki Singh. Thank you so much for joining us on The Splash.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
Thank you, thank you. So we're talking about this article, this story that talks about weight loss drugs like Ozempic kind of affecting the bones. Essentially, what have you gotten out of that story?
You know, primarily the story really focuses on the side effect rather than the benefit of the medications. The age group that was in this specific study was middle-aged women in their mid-40s to mid-90s, and that's already a higher risk patient for osteoporosis or brittle bone disease. Right. So it's very difficult to make the generic statement that there is a higher risk for everybody. Yes, for specific age groups, certainly there is.
See, and we also saw a few different articles that talk about different situations that our residents right here in Oakland County and West Bloomfield are dealing with. It was an article from Bridge, Michigan that says 1 in 5 Michigan kids are obese and doctors are turning to weight loss drugs to kind of to combat this. What would you have to say in regards to that information?
Obesity is becoming a more prevalent disease, and we do need to focus on the treatment and the prevention rather than ignoring the problem. By the year 2030, 50% of the U.S. population is going to be struggling with obesity. So we need to be prepared for this that's upcoming in the next few years. Weight loss medications have a great spot for the disease treatment. Anti-obesity medications can help correct a lot of the hormonal dysregulations that prevents one from being able to adhere to a diet plan or a healthy nutritional diet or exercise because of food cravings, because of larger portions of meals. So these medications are actually quite useful if used correctly.
And joining us right here on the Splash Live from Henry Ford Health System Medical Director for Weight Management, Obesity Medicine Medical Director for West Bloomfield and other Metro Detroit areas, Dr. Suki Singh. Joining us just talking about medical weight loss drugs and how it affects local residents. Now, we're also getting from the Oakland County Health Department just information regarding our aging population right here, specifically in West Bloomfield, and having the challenges of arthritis. Can you just talk about any specific strategies that local residents can adopt to manage arthritis and manage the risk of hospitalization?
Certainly, arthritis, is an inflammatory disease. It's a damage to the joints from weight-bearing joints. So whether it's your knees or your hips. So one of the first things you could do is be at a healthy weight, decrease those inflammatory foods out of your diet, try to stick to more of a healthier routine where you are doing regimented strength training to really make your muscles that are supporting your joints more strong, which will also prevent future falls and risks of falls that we see in our aging population.
Yeah, so we're seeing like it's like a double-edged sword. And I want you to correct me if I'm wrong. Seeing that if you are obese, you're suffering from obesity, it kind of puts weight on your bones, which makes your bones a little bit weak. And also, if you're kind of using weight loss drugs as a solution to your obesity, that also affects your bones. So it seems like going the way of pretty much exercise and a healthy diet is the best solution overall. What would you speak to that?
Couldn't agree more. Both of those things have one thing in common, and that is strength training, a healthy routine. Whatever you can do 3 to 4 days of strength training, 15, 20 minutes. You could do resistance bands, light weights throughout the day to prevent these side effects and actually get the best benefit of these medications.
Correct. Now, like I said, coming from the Oakland County Health Department, it seems like there are a few different bone issues that are being discharged from our local hospital residents in the Oakland County area, 65 and over, over 500 hip fracture cases, and this is from 2020 to 2022. Osteoporosis mentioned, 65 and over 3,000 cases, 45 and over 1,800 hospital discharges due to arthritis. But speaking on the hip prevention, are there any targeted initiatives that can be implemented in West Bloomfield to prevent hip fractures amongst the elderly?
A great topic of discussion. Again, I always go back to what can we do to implement more exercise, strength training, make sure our elderly population is feeling more at balance with their joints. That can prevent risk of falls and further damage to a joint from a fracture itself. So if we could do more exercise classes, I'm always a big proponent of yoga, resistance training. Whatever we can do, whenever we can do it is key. Having more food markets with healthy fruits and vegetables accessible is also helpful. And it really just comes down to preventative.
Completely understand. Now, overall, since we are making a connection between weight loss drugs, bone density, and how it affects local residents here in West Bloomfield, how should patients using weight loss drugs, GLP-1 drugs for weight loss, or diabetes medicine or management address the potential risk of bone density loss here in West Bloomfield?
Again, strength train as much as you can, 2 to 3 days a week at minimum. If you can do it every other day, that's fantastic. And I do want to also talk about these medications have been around over 10 years, but now all of a sudden, when they're being used for treatment of obesity, we're bringing out all the side effects and the risk factors associated with these medications. So I want to make sure patients are understanding, if done correctly, you can use these medications for your benefit, and you can actually do well over time and make your joints more stronger with the right type of exercise, right type of nutrition. So work with a dietitian, work with a program that can help support your lifestyle.
I completely understand it, and we appreciate that. Has there been any other key information before we let you go that we haven't discussed that you want to let our community know about in regards to family medicine or obesity?
Oh, certainly. I could talk all day about obesity. It's a disease that we need to start treating instead of ignoring and telling our patients that it's a fault of their lifestyle. Things happen, and it's what we can do for our patients. It's how we can help them lose the 10, 15, 20 pounds, get into a healthy routine with their eating habits, exercise, evaluate them for anti-obesity medications. And your diabetic patients, use your GLP-1s instead of insulin, and really help support the disease of obesity and prevent the complications like diabetes, fractures, arthritis, cancers, Alzheimer's.
Correct. And that's like we said, we learn about information right here in Oakland County and West Bloomfield about not only our aging population, but the number of cases that we see with discharges from bone-related issues. We want to make sure we put out correct information from experts like yourself. Thank you again for joining us right here on the Splash Live, System Medical Director for Weight Management and Obesity Medicine Medical Director for West Bloomfield and Henry Ford Hospital, Dr. Suki Singh. Thank you for being here. We appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yes. A lot of great information right there. You can recap that segment and find out everything that you missed right on our website, civiccentertv.com. Click on the On-Demand tab for more information regarding that and other things that are going on in the community, specifically having a little bit more fun on the artsy, creative side. You get an opportunity to design your own library card. Join us right here on the Splash Live, Marketing and Communications Specialist for West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Victoria Edwards. Thank you so much for being here. And let's just talk about what was the motivation behind the library wanting to let patrons design their own library card?
We have 2 designs for library cards right now. I can show you. This is our standard library card design. And we have my first library card design. And we've noticed that oftentimes when kids come up to the library, especially upper elementary kids and teenagers, they're not really interested in either. So we were really interested in trying to find a way to engage with the community and liven up some of our library card designs so that we had more options available for our community that represented them and what they like about the library. So we decided to have a library card design contest that would allow youth, teens, and adults to all submit their own designs for our next library cards. And we're going to publish library cards using the artwork from one youth, one teen, and one adult member in our community.
That is very, very interesting, Victoria. And what I was saying, that speaks to how you all are listening and paying attention to the residents and the patrons at the West Bloomfield Township Public Library. For you all to pretty much let the kids choose and then kind of either look at their faces and see that they aren't interested, or even get their feedback and say, I don't really like that. And you say, you know what, let's do something about that. I think that speaks volumes first and foremost. Let's give it a little bit more details about this contest. When is it open? When is it in? And what are the other specific qualifications and requirements?
Yeah, so this contest is open now through July 31st. And we've expanded it. So when we first launched it last month, we were really interested in trying to promote it with our summer reading program. But we've now expanded it to everyone with a West Bloomfield library card. So if you're a resident or a student in our community, you're eligible to create a new design. And we have a limit of just one entry per person. Like I said, we've got a youth age group that's up until basically grades 5 and under. We have a teen age group that's for grades 6 through 12, and then an adult age group, which is ages 18 and up. And so you have to submit to the right category that corresponds with your age group. And we ask that you not include your name in the artwork, but we will print your name and recognize you in the design and in our newsletter as well. And then submissions can be basically in any 2D art medium. So we've had a lot of crayon submissions so far, but I'm really excited. I hope we see more like markers, paints, and all kinds of different formats too. I think there's a lot of opportunities for people to explore. We do have a digital form as well for anyone who might want to complete digital artwork. So we would also accept photography if people had a photo that they were particularly proud of, that they felt represented the community, or a couple of photos. They'd be welcome to submit that as well. They don't have to worry about putting our brand information or anything like that on there. That's something that we'll do post artwork, and so we can add our name in there if it's not already on the design, and make sure that everything is in line with the artwork still, but also in line with our library, so that you know exactly what card it is that you're looking at.
Straight shooting, Victoria. You answering all my questions in advance, but I like it. You getting straight to it. Joining us right now, marketing and communication specialist for West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Victoria Edwards, talking about your chance to design your very own library card. Not just yours, but this is something everybody in the community is essentially going to get. Now, 3 different categories. Does that mean we're getting 3 different cards?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay, so you have the opportunity to submit a physical artwork, digital artwork. There's 3 different categories, youth, teen, and adult, split up by ages also. And it says winner's art will be printed on the cards this fall. Can you just talk about the process of selecting the actual artwork that'll be for each category too, by the way?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to have, it's going to be a blinded process. So I'll be removing names from all the materials, and then it'll go to a committee of library staff members who will look at all of the blinded submissions and decide on their favorites from each category. Once the committee has decided on their favorites, we're opening it up to all of our staff to vote on from amongst the top 5 in each category and pick what their favorite is. So it's really a situation where our staff interacts with the community most. So it shouldn't be me back here in administration deciding on what I think is best. It should be the staff members who know what the community tends towards in the design choices, and has to have those interactions with the kids who are like, ooh, I don't want either card, actually. So
I get it. Okay, I have my brain. I got to ask this random question. I'm assuming there's original artwork that we all want, right? But if someone submits something from some type of AI software, is that allowed?
Yeah, we do. That's new this year. We had to specifically say no AI designs, please. So no AI designs are allowed, and we do ask that you have the copyright for all of your materials. So you do have to sign an artist release statement, basically confirming that you own the rights to those materials. So that means no using licensed characters as well. We just don't want to get in trouble for printing designs that might be a licensed character or somebody else's artwork.
Good point. I always feel like some of my questions are kind of stupid and random, but I
Not
love
at
when
all.
we actually get confirmation. It's a pretty good perspective that I just came from. So yes, thank you for assuring that. Any other additional information regarding the library card design for West Bloomfield? Any other key information we need to let the community know?
Yeah, I'll just show, this is the print template. You can pick it up from any of the desks at the library. That includes the West Acres branch, and then our main library desks as well. And it's got the instructions on the front side here. We've got a little entry form inside. And like I said, we also have this online. You can find it on our website, wblib.org/card-design. That's where we have our instructions, and our form is there as well if you wanted to submit it digitally, or you can print out one of these templates from home. And then once you've completed your artwork, you can bring it into any of the desks as well, and staff are instructed to leave it in my mailbox so that I can go through and blind everything.
That's actually very, very exciting. I'm already looking at the kid's face who designs the card. It gets selected, and they see everybody getting their design. I could already see that excitement right there. I'm so happy that you are doing this. Great thing for the community. Great way to have community engagement also, and to kind of go back and take suggestions from the community also. Thank you again, community or marketing and communication specialist for West Bloomfield Township Public Library, Victoria Edwards. Thank you for your time and your information.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Great, great. Thanks again, Victoria C. Because like I said, it's things like that that just shows that our local organizations, institutions are listening to us and not just doing anything that they want. So find out more information regarding that contest to design your own library card, wblib.org. Find out everything that you need regarding that. Now, Oakland County is showing support for the family of a fallen sheriff deputy. The Splash Live's very own Tyler Keefe actually spoke with Oakland County Sheriff Michael Bouchard to learn how you can help the grieving family of Deputy Brad Reckling.
Sheriff, thank you for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
I would say happy to have you on, but unfortunately that is not the case at this time. We never like to talk about a fallen officer in the line of duty or outside of the line of duty, but in times like this, we want to remember not only the service of our fallen deputy, but who he was as a person. So starting off, tell us about Deputy Brad Reckling as a person, as a man.
Well, everything that all of his really close friends have said is that his family was his life. They've got 3 small kids and a 4th on the way. That his loving wife, they had just worked together to rehab their house to get ready for the next baby to arrive. He loved his family immensely and loved his job, and he was great at it. He was one of our rising stars. He'd been decorated numerous times. He had moved through different postings. I was honored and proud to promote him to different things. He was a detective in our Rochester Hill substation for a period of time, a patrol deputy there, and had recently this year been assigned to our highly sought after specialty auto theft team.
And it was the work that he was putting in that was so impressive and helped lead him through his career. And that speaks to something that, we don't commonly see in any profession. And when you see that from someone, it tells you a lot about their character, both on and off of the job. And in times like this, our community here in the greater West Bloomfield area, not unfamiliar to these sorts of tragedies. And in our time of need, there was great support from outside of the greater West Bloomfield area, including from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. At this time, how has the law enforcement community and the first responder community responded in helping those on your team work through a tragic time like this?
Yeah, that's the one thing about public safety is we are a family, and when we have one fall, people rally, and our community has rallied as well. First I'd like to say thank you to DPD, Detroit Police, Chief White. He actually called me within minutes of this happening on Saturday night in Detroit. And MSP, both DPD and MSP quickly went to the scene where our detectives were, where Detective Reckling had fallen, and set up a very fast perimeter, caught 3 people within that perimeter, and recovered weapons in there. And so obviously one of the most important keys to this is justice, that people are held accountable, but then obviously pivoting immediately. How do we support the family? How do we take off some of the edges that we can? Because we know we can't take the edge off of the loss. That's too huge, too dramatic.
Of course.
Of a void for us to fill, but we can maybe take some of the financial concerns and some of those bumps out of their way and do whatever we can to support them.
And that's already underway, Sheriff. I'm glad you brought that up because this is a way that the community can provide support to someone that had worked so diligently and been working so hard to protect them and to do justice upon our community. So at this time, how can people support the Reckling family in their time of need?
Yeah, so we have a charity called Mission Oakland. It's a licensed 501c3. You can go to our website at oaklandsheriff.com. There's a link right on the front page there that goes to a donation capability for his family. 100% of the money that comes in will go directly to his family. So, that's the key, is that not only do we want to get them 100% of it, but we want to get it to them as quickly as possible. So it's one thing that they don't have to worry about. And, I've been super appreciative of the response the community has given. And I've had friends from across the country calling and offering support. I had a phone call yesterday from Jay Leno, and he's already got a check in my hand. He FedExed it overnight. So there's a lot of love for this fallen deputy and for his family, and hopefully, we'll help them through the very difficult days ahead.
And we have a link to that already available for you watching or listening to this. If you're watching on civiccentertv.com or on our cable television stations, any of our social media, there's a QR code on your screen as we speak. If you scan that, it will take you directly to the donation page through Mission Oakland to support Deputy Brad Reckling's family going forward. Sheriff Bouchard is with us from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff, before we let you go, I want to step back to, again, how the community can continue to help. This is an ongoing investigation, and if people have any information on what happened over the weekend on that tragic day, how can they provide that information best to your department and Detroit?
Yeah, certainly if they have any knowledge or information, please give us a call. Or Detroit Police Department, they're taking the lead on the homicide of our deputy. But I would also say, reach out to your representatives at all level. We need more support for mental health programs for the community at large, but also specifically for public safety. I've got one full-time peer-to-peer person. We have almost 1,500 people, and I created that position by eliminating another necessary position, but felt it was that big of a priority. So we're asking for one more immediate full-time position from the county, and we're asking our state and federal legislators to do more on mental health for the community, but also put some resources for peer-to-peer into public safety, because they're hurting. If you look at what's happened across the country for the last few years, line of duty deaths in law enforcement are up, and ambushes like this are up dramatically. And what people don't realize is, even given those high numbers of line of duty deaths, the one number that outstrips that is officer suicides. So the pressure, the incredible challenge that they face every day. And for our agency, it has been a line of duty death with deputy overall, and then COVID, and then the terrible tragedy of Oxford. And then we also responded to MSU. And then we had the active shooter at the splash pad in Rochester Hills, and now this. And that's on top of what they see every day and can never unsee. So we have to support them better and help them process those terrible things better. Because, as I said, officer suicides have spiked, and they deserve our support. They're protecting us. We need to help them as well.
Very well said. Sheriff Michael Bouchard from the Oakland County Sheriff's Department with us on the Splash Live as we remember Deputy Brad Reckling from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office. Again, you can provide your support to their family by visiting oakgov.com/sheriff and clicking on their donation page. It's also available through their Facebook page at OCSO Michigan, and we'll put that back up on your screen in just a moment so you can see and scan that QR code for even more information and to go directly to that donation page where you can make a donation one time, weekly, monthly through PayPal or with a debit or credit card. Before we let you go, Sheriff, anything else that you would like to say at this time?
I'd just like to say thank you to the community, Oakland County specific, but at large. We feel the love and support, and that's really important. You've seen places around the country where police have been demonized, and when someone does something wrong, obviously they need to be held accountable, but the vast majority are doing the right thing every day. And so they have to be uplifted and supported. Our community does that, but other communities around the country have not. And in many ways, they become the Vietnam vets, where they're asked to do a tough job and then they're demonized for just being in that profession. So let's not repeat that from the past that we did to our Vietnam vets. Let's make sure that the men and women that are in public safety get the support that they deserve, quite frankly.
Well, Sheriff, our thoughts from our team at Civic Center TV are with you, our community in Greater West Bloomfield. We will continue to keep you and the Reckling family in our thoughts at this time. Thank you for taking time to be with us today.
Thanks so much for having me.
Appreciate it. At this time, if you have any information or tips that may be helpful in this investigation, couple places you can go. You can call either the Detroit Homicide Task Force 313-596-2260 or call Crime Stoppers at 1-800-SPEAK-UP. And one more time, we'll put that graphic with the QR code back up on the screen if you want to show your support at this time for the Reckling family in their time of need. Scan that QR code. It will take you directly to the donation page. You can always keep up to date on more from the Oakland County Sheriff's Office on their website, oakgov.com/sheriff, or Facebook at OCSO Michigan.
And our hearts, thoughts, and prayers are with the Oakland County Sheriff's Office as well as Deputy Brad Reckling's family in this tragic event. And if you are watching on Civic Center TV, you see this code, the QR code on your screen. Take some time if you can, scan that code with your phone, and it'll take you directly to the link for their fundraiser page so you can support the Reckling family and everything that's going on with this tragic incident. So we want to continue to show support to the Oakland County Sheriff's Office as the story unfolds. And like I said, our hearts, thoughts, and prayers go out to the family of Deputy Brad Reckling as well. So a lot of different things going on right here in the community that we love to keep you updated about. And you can stay updated on all of our social medias and our website. Here's another QR code for you if you're watching on Civic Center TV. Go directly to civiccentertv.com, click on the on-demand tab, or scan this QR code. It'll take you to our website and our social media page, Facebook, Civic Center TV 15, YouTube, Civic Center TV, and more. Scan that code to stay up to date on everything related in the Greater West Bloomfield community that we'll keep you updated on right here on the Splash Live. So much more going on, and we love to keep you updated. It is our job, but we want to make sure that you tell a friend to tell a friend. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV, and we are always live, local, and social. I'm your host for today, Kevin McIntosh. Thank you for watching and listening. We are on 89.3 Lakes FM and CivicCenterTV.com.